what are our general impressions of this movie? Because I don't know where to start.
I like.
I'm pretty mixed on some of the stuff, but I liked it overall.
I actually really liked it. I didn't love it though. Some criticisms, and I think we should get into those first.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
I
up to
agree.
you guys. What you guys want to start with?
No, I think I feel the same way. Where I liked it, but I didn't love it.
All right, so let's talk about some negatives first.
I have a take. I don't know if it was the writing or just Sophie Turner, but she was not good.
She wasn't good in the last one.
I thought she was terrible.
I think she was okay. I don't think she was bad.
Her dialogue seemed really jilted.
I think there were some scenes where she seemed to be more focused on maintaining her American accent.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
I did not like a lot of the way some of the stuff she said was delivered, or some of the stuff she said at all, really. But
Well,
There were some times where I felt like she was saying what she was feeling too much. Like it wasn't letting itself like.
it wasn't natural.
Yeah.
this movie is impossible to watch without comparing to X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yes.
Oh,
So-
it blows that out of the fucking water.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that's not hard.
But there is something very significant that The Last Stand does better than this. When Jean Grey turns, we
She's-
have had 2 movies of build-up of her
Mhm.
as a character and her established as a significant force of this team. In this movie, we've had her as a supporting character in the last one, have a light show at the end of it, then maybe 5 minutes of her as like a regular person in this, and then she turns evil.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't really been introduced to her as a person.
I am inclined to agree.
Like when she turns evil, X-Men are all like, "That's Jean. That's our Jean. We love our Jean." I'm not feeling our love for
haven't-
Jean. If like it was someone significant like Professor X, that would be a little bit different because I've had 20 years of knowing Professor X as a character.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
versus this version of Jean, I've had like little to no time spent with her, so I don't really feel that impact. when
Yeah,
she
it
does turn
didn't
evil.
feel like it was too meaningful.
I agree.
Like-
This movie all over feels very low key.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really advance. Like I remember at one point, like I leaned over to Ian and I was like, "What time is it?" And we checked, and we were like,
was
"Oh, this
9.
is the final
it was
fight."
9:00, and Bud's like, "Where?
This
what-
movie's over."
What happens?"
Yeah, it feels like they
Because-
skipped a lot of steps here.
Yeah.
Like I thought this was like the run up to the final fight, but no, this was it.
It has the Infinity War problem of a lot of the emotional scenes are so rushed with this overbearing soundtrack that you don't.
Oh, the
really feel
soundtrack
them.
blew. I mentioned that to Mud halfway through. He's like, I haven't really been paying attention.
2
The-
seconds later.
2 seconds later, the soundtrack started. He's like, oh yeah, no, this sucks. And I'm like,
Yeah, it was the scene where she was talking to Magneto. I'm like, you know what doesn't need to be in this scene?
I agree.
music.
That's exactly what I thought, or that moment when I thought that the soundtrack was too overbearing was when she was talking to Magneto the first time in Genosha when he was trying to figure out where the blood was,
And
and
it wasn't silent.
she was arguably quieter than the overbearing Hans Zimmer
Yep.
bombs
I
in the
didn't like
background
that.
because that was Zimmer. And
I hate the bombs in soundtracks. That's a pet peeve of mine. I think it's fucking garbage.
Yeah.
In this movie, it made me hate it even more.
I just feel
It was
like
just annoying.
it wasn't even a terrible soundtrack inherently. I just wish it was less used.
I think it just wasn't good overall.
Speaking
They
of-
didn't even play the X-Men theme.
That's
They
true.
didn't.
Oh my
It was
god.
bad. Like the soundtrack was just bad.
Speaking of poor use, Quicksilver is not in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
He has been
The best part of the
he
last
has been
two.
a highlight of these new movies. Everyone agrees across the board, whether you like the new X-Men or you don't like them. It is one of the few things that, like, remember 2015 when Age of Ultron came out
Yep.
and that movie had Quicksilver and everyone went, no, X-Men did Quicksilver better.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was like, I don't want to say it was that was the only thing the X-Men had going for them. I don't want to make it sound like they were
But that's like the best scene
But
in the
that's
last 2 movies.
Yes. And that was X-Men's thing, is they were like, you know, you have all of our characters, but we did Quicksilver 10 times better than you did.
Mm-hmm.
And you take him out in the first 20 minutes of this movie, and you just don't,
Give him some shitty throwaway lines too.
you
It
don't
feels-
even revisit him.
It feels like they knew, oh, well, if he's in the movie, he'll just stop all the problems immediately, so let's nerf him at the beginning.
But they also very clearly established that he couldn't, because he tries to get his shot in,
Mhm.
at
Gene just whoops.
and Jean just whoop.
Yeah.
So
Right,
like,
but, like,
they
So he doesn't solve
they
all the problems.
they
Yeah.
overcompensated for the worry that Quicksilver would be too easy.
That's
taking
true.
him out.
And then
he
they
has
kept
3 lines in the whole movie.
And then you have characters in here that should be nerfed, like Nightcrawler and Professor X, and then they're just running rampant. If you're gonna nerf Evan Peters as a character just to have the logic make sense, you can't then have Professor X around a bunch of mutants who he can control, and then have him just not freeze everybody when they're gonna go attack in London.
If you take a shot for every time Ty Sheridan bursts through a door, you die of alcohol poisoning.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So we're still on negatives. Now, I'm glad Jennifer Lawrence got to phone in one more performance in the series, man.
She sucked.
She
Oh my
blew.
god, you didn't want to be there. She had arguably the worst scene right at the beginning, not right at the beginning, but where she's talking to Professor X and she's like, I can't remember the last time you sacrificed anything for this team.
Which really sucks because, like, that was supposed to be like the emotional setup of the movie, and I leaned over to Ian and I was like, she's making some good points, and
but
like
Professor X said something immediately after. I'm like, he's making some good points.
they both
Yeah.
did, but the problem was Jennifer Lawrence did such a, I don't want to say bad job, but
She's
like
just
such
not-
a lackluster
Yeah, she
job
doesn't
that like
care.
I disagree strongly.
that James McAvoy blew her out of the water in the scene, and I was fully on James McAvoy's side.
I disagree strongly that she had some good points.
She had no good points.
Professor X, you haven't sacrificed anything for this team in a long time.
I have no
Bitch,
legs.
He has been in a wheelchair because of a bullet he took to the spine, fighting for mutants' rights. You do not deserve to talk to him about that
Do
at
you remember
all.
when he got fucked over by Apocalypse last movie?
He created the School for Gifted Youngsters as a haven for mutants for the past entire film series. He's not.
Well, the argument she's making is that he's turned them into
A
government
workforce.
Yeah, a workforce,
he
not
has turned roughly
truly
4 or
free.
5 of the dozens of mutants that he has saved into tools for what he could consider good. That is
And
not by
even
any
that.
means.
The point that he makes right after it's, yeah, I think that's a very fair price to not be fucking like called terrible.
Yeah,
things.
no, I
it's-
agree. I'm just saying, like,
It's not even a price to pay. It's just if you have the power to save people, I don't know why Professor X would ever be like, you know what? No, let's just all sit down and jerk ourselves off like mutants in Genosha with Magneto,
Mm.
which I thought was a great part of the movie.
That was a good
yes,
movie.
oh my god, Genosha was amazing.
Exactly.
I'm equal parts happy and furious they didn't name drop Genosha, because I feel like it would have been a little forced for them to be like, oh yeah, that Genosha project, but like
Yeah.
at the same time, like, come on,
Everything's a project or an initiative in these.
just say Genosha.
I have another negative. The Tilda Swinton bad guy character
She
did
sucked.
not like her.
Jessica Chastain.
That whole
She
subplot
blew-
sucked.
Yep.
Oh.
It's not even a subplot. It's a plot of the movie at one point, but it's a subplot at first.
It's
Terrible.
The whole aliens felt really generic.
Yeah,
One
it was
note.
very Captain Marvel Skrull. I was
They
like,
were
oh,
very
cool,
flat.
Skrulls are in this movie.
Like, I was like, I don't even think that character like gave herself a name.
no,
Didn't
I don't
matter.
care.
No, she literally didn't, because the one time they asked her
Yeah.
who she was, she just went, well, the better question is, who are you?
Yeah.
Really
no, but
expected-
I asked first.
Yeah, literally, bitch, I asked first.
Really expendable bad guys here.
Yeah,
Really did not enjoy
I didn't
that
like
sequence.
that. That's why I have mixed feelings about the movie, because I don't like the main character, which is Jean.
Trying to think of more different negatives than the ones we're talking about.
I think I've pretty much expunged every negative I had about the movie.
Alright, Ian, anything else?
Surprisingly, no. I had the most negatives to immediately shoot out of my mouth. but no,
Alright,
don't
so
really
I want to
have any
talk
big
about the
ones.
first positives. The X-Men fucking use their powers in
Yes,
great
yes,
ways.
they do.
That
Oh
fight
my God.
that New York fight was amazing.
Yes,
It was
yes, it was.
incredible when they're on the streets of I thought was London at first because of the double-decker red bus.
Well, you know why you thought that, Jake? There wasn't any giant words on screen to let you
Yeah.
know.
So, but for,
Oh
on
my
top
god!
of that,
But they said it. That's why there were no giant words.
I know it's like they treat
But
us
Jake
like
still missed it, so clearly you
it's
need
almost
giant
like
words.
they treat us like smart people or something. But
Okay.
on top of that, what really another reason why I thought it was London, this ties in, is because
The double-decker bus.
nope. Because we got some serious Larry Talbot Wolfman action in this movie. Beast flipped around so many times and yoked people into walls. Oh my god, I really enjoyed Beast. I really enjoyed Nightcrawler. I feel like he
He
became
was awesome.
he became the kind of Nightcrawler that Alan Cumming was in X2.
He was as good as the opening scene of X2.
I agree.
That is the
almost.
golden standard for
yeah,
Nightcrawler.
I think he was up there.
Almost.
He was really, really
that
good.
opening scene is something spectacular.
That's the golden standard for how you use Nightcrawler,
Yeah.
though.
I'll say that he became that for maybe 5 or 10 seconds. I don't want
Um,
to say it's as good as that scene.
Yeah, I
My
agree.
favorite X-Men in this movie, and I'm gonna hold this true, Ty fucking Sheridan.
Really?
There were so many parts where he was just like, you know what? He used his he never uses his glasses ever.
Mm-hmm. He's always in the movies. He's always like a brick of wood that doesn't do anything.
He
The
was-
character, not just him specifically.
He had emotion. He had things to do. He was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Cyclops.
You know, laser gun.
Cyclops is the main character in the comics, so I felt like he was almost the main character in this movie. I felt great.
I
I was
honestly,
like, that's my boy.
it feels like if you're a fan of any of these individual characters, you're going to come home satisfied, except Quicksilver. He just got
Mhm.
shafted.
so mad.
The Storm. Oh
She
my
was
god.
great.
Storm was great. She was super powerful.
She
She
didn't
was
even just
awesome.
use lightning. She created ice for a
She
drink.
did the wind thing and then did the
Mhm.
to Magneto, which I thought was great.
Magneto had some kick-ass moments too.
I straight up thought, oh spoilers, I straight up thought she killed Magneto in that fucking thing.
I don't think they'd go that far.
So I want to get into my positive, which
Okay.
is something that's been carried over for the last couple X-Men movies. Some of the kills in this movie are
Oh,
fucking brutal,
gruesome.
and I love them.
Mhm.
Dude, they've been doing the brutal kill thing for years, and I love it. Even PG-13 movies, there's a scene where Magneto shoves a piece of metal through a dude's hand and then moves
Yes!
it so the metal goes through the guy's neck.
Yes.
Oh my fucking god. Ty Sheridan dropped an F-bomb at one
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, if you touch her, I'll fucking kill you. I was like,
Oh,
Ty Sheridan just
fuck.
say that?
Yeah, I literally looked at Ian and I was like, did Cyclops just fucking swear?
Dude, gave him all the character I needed. He was so raw
he
in
had
that
more
one
character in
moment.
this movie than he has in a long time.
Yeah, and I loved Cyclops in this movie.
Yeah, no.
There was one point where when Storm was just like, yeah, she's not Jean anymore. I looked at Mike and went,
We were joking. There was one scene where a little kid was like, did she really? Walks over to the little kid and he goes, listen, kid.
this youngling Anakin, done.
No, but like, I love the brutality in these X-Men
Yeah,
movies.
no,
They are
they're
not
great.
afraid to be like, no, the X-Men murder. And sometimes it's usually Magneto and like the bad guys. Like there's a scene in X-Men Apocalypse where Apocalypse waves his hand and Stan decapitates
Yes, that's
three
a
dudes in
great scene.
That's amazing. Always a fan of how brutal the X-Men are willing to be. That's like that's what to me separates them from like MCU and even DCEU sometimes.
Mhm.
Did you see the scene where Nightcrawler put his tail through a guy's neck?
That was
Wrapped it around
amazing.
And then snapped his neck.
And then
Oh.
snapped it. It's
Fuck.
great. Like I'm so happy that they're like, no, this is how you kill.
Yeah.
They don't incapacitate.
And I love
they murder.
Nightcrawler's little sequence there too, because he only did it after he couldn't save someone's life because of the aliens. So that
Yeah.
was like, you know
Yeah.
what, full
He was
Nightcrawler
mad.
mode.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He was furious.
Nightcrawler, he's a really tame. He doesn't like to kill. You see that set up in the last movie where he doesn't want to fight Angel in the cage match.
Yeah.
And right after that, right after the guy who's like, my son was a fan, died, the guy let him free. They had this whole character, like,
It
not
was
like a
good.
bonding moment, but like a understanding between each other.
Yeah.
And then the guy dies, and he's just like,
Whoops.
Time
Gotta
to
fucking
murder.
time to kill people. And I was like, oh my god.
The only thing I wish they'd brought in more is Nightcrawler's devout character.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see maybe him like coming to terms with the fact that he just killed somebody, maybe like holding like a rosemary and just like,
Mhm.
or is it rosary?
Rosary.
I still
Rosary
buy it
and
in the
just, like-
sense that he's still young, even though he should be like 45 or whatever the fuck this timeline.
No,
They're all in
Michael
their
Fassbender's
20s.
supposed to be 60.
Yeah, Magneto should be in his 60s. It's been 50 years since
World War II.
World War II, and he was 10 when that happened.
Yup.
He's 60 years old.
He's
Yes, Michael Fassbender is my favorite 60-year-old.
He's buff as fuck.
This is maybe a decade before 2000's X-Men.
8 years. The movie take place in 1992.
8 years between Sir Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender. Yeah, I
Man,
don't
his
think
nose
so.
is just gonna.
Charles still looks exactly the same.
Charles looks fine.
You know what? I might have to rewatch them to solidify my point here, but I'm pretty sure this might be the most beautiful effects in any X-Men movie.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree.
Mike did say the visuals are beautiful in the film.
It's certainly
in the theater.
flawless. I couldn't find a part where it looked fake.
There was one part when they exited the tunnel. All the alien guys crawling on the train. They looked kind of weird.
Say
I
about
didn't
that.
notice.
That looked fine.
I'm gonna say this. I know you two don't think that flight can ever realistically be achieved in film.
Every time.
I bought that Magneto and Jean Grey were flying.
Every single time she
too.
rocket launched straight in the air, I laughed though. She was just.
Yeah, but that's less so. It looks like it looks
It just
fine.
looks dull.
But I think that's
Yeah.
more because it wasn't just them on a green screen background. They
Yeah.
probably had wires.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looked silly. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but it wasn't like, yeah, that's realistic flight. It was just like that's way too silly for like
Yeah, I bought
anything.
Magneto flying. I think it was
Magneto
good.
flying. Yes,
Yeah.
because he hovers. He doesn't really fly.
This is going up against Endgame as far as the effects awards, probably though. That's I
Mm.
don't know. It's tough. There are more effects in Endgame physically.
Yeah, true. I'm trying to think of anything else I have to say positively about
By
this movie.
Sheridan. Oh, the Nick Holt and James McAvoy.
Scene between them. I wish that scene had gone on longer.
Yes. Tell me you were wrong. And I was like, oh my god.
That was my favorite part about that was Beast wasn't angry. He was like
he was depressed.
he was so sad. Like I thought Nick Holt was about to break out into tears. He wasn't like
He looked.
tell me you're wrong, Charles. He was like tell me you're wrong. Like it was like
he was like pleading with him.
he
wasn't
was
mad.
pleading with him.
Yeah.
He's like I am lost. I am scared, and I just need
I
to
need
hear
you.
this.
I need you to know
See,
that you were wrong.
I need to know that you're vulnerable too.
That scene to me felt really rushed too.
Yes.
I wanted like that scene because that felt like it should have been like a 4 or 5 minute sequence.
Yeah.
and it
Yes.
was 30 seconds.
I would have loved a 4 to 5 minute unbroken shot of that.
Mhm.
Just one shot, steady cam, and
Yeah.
just let them just say your lines and try not to interrupt each other.
Yep, let them go.
I had no weight at the funeral of
Mystique.
Mystique.
Because it was 2 seconds.
It was 2 seconds,
And then we immediately
and
made a
she
joke about
sucked.
Cyclops.
So it didn't matter.
And then immediately afterwards we made a joke about Cyclops,
killing
lasering
children?
a kid.
Yes.
Did
But
she
like,
really kill Mystique? Listen, kid.
but I just her character for the last 2 movies has been so like the worst part of the movies, arguably her performances. So the fact that she's out of the franchise, I almost felt like relieved that her character died. Like,
You
I
know
don't
what
have
else
to
is out of
listen
the
to this anymore.
franchise?
The
franchise.
franchise. It's unfortunate.
I'm
Yeah,
so sad.
that's the last sad part for me is that I've been stuck with this franchise for
20 years.
19 years.
19 years.
Yeah.
Since I was 4 years old, since I watched X-Men, probably in theaters. I don't know, I have to ask my mom.
When Wolverine wakes up in the future,
Hmm.
Jean's still there in Days of Future Past.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they foreshadowed her coming back anyway.
True enough. I will
Yeah.
give you that, but that just like clicked in my mind. I was like, wait a fuck.
And Mystique wasn't.
Mystique was not there.
I-
Neither was Magneto, to be fair.
I think Beast's makeup looked more Kelsey Grammer Beast's makeup. I think that was on purpose.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
that was really good.
Yes.
To me, this movie being indicative of the end of the franchise, that really hits close to home since I've been with it for so long. Not because the movie is like that good that it's moving me, but like just the fact that I've been with it for so
There
long.
have been movies in this franchise that are that good.
Yeah, and
Logan.
I've been attached to this franchise for a very long time.
I've been attached to this franchise since before the MCU. Before
Yeah.
there was even really the idea of a cinematic universe.
Yep.
Exactly, and
Back when it was just the X-Men trilogy.
Yeah.
and now that to see it all finish because New Mutants is going to be come out in like 25
Never.
years.
And the worst
Got it.
part is, the way this movie ends, you can tell they didn't want this to be the end.
Of course,
Yeah.
you never knew.
They played chess.
Oh my god, the chess scene was so good.
Well,
like
it's
chess.
very callback.
There were a lot of
Yeah.
callbacks to First
Well, now,
Class.
to be fair, you kind of have to.
We're the last of the First Class. That was such a meta scene where it was really Jennifer Lawrence telling Nick Holt she didn't want to be in the fucking movies anymore.
Listen,
Exactly.
I want to leave. What do you mean you want to leave? Do you want
Nick
to
Holt's like, this is the
Do you want to go
greatest...
to Genosha? No, I don't want to be in these movies anymore. Nick.
Nick Holt's like, what do you mean? Like, these are great movies. No, they're not. Well, that's because you're such a bad
That's because
actor.
you're such a Debbie Downer and you don't want to
Yeah.
be in them anymore.
Nick Holt's like, I fucking love this. I get to run around on all fours.
you can go be in Mother with Seer and Hins. I'll do something else. I'll be in the good movies.
I'm gonna go be in Tolkien. I thought you said you were gonna be in good movies.
Also, Ian Javier Bardem, you mixed them up.
Fuck. He just looks like a guy.
All right. I think I've said my piece.
Out of 10,
Ian, you should go first.
Like a 7 or an 8.
I'm between 6 and 7.
I'm between 7 or 8.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, 20% of Rotten Tomatoes, guys.
Yeah, 23%.
'Cause I
This is a
think-
really
Trainwreck.
fucking deserves it.
I think Apocalypse is like a 5 or a 6, and this movie's better. So
I think
a 7 or an
Apocalypse is like a 7, so I'm gonna give this an 8.
Apocalypse to me is like probably a 5. I like equal parts of it. It's like a Last Stand out there.
8.
But,
Last Stand is not 5.
Last Stand's like a 4.
It's like a 3 or
I know
4.
people rack on that movie. I don't
Cheeks.
hate it.
Oh, Ty Sharon said fuck.